Again, anybody's got small children? What happened? Why did you all disappear? And then you look around for the broken flower pot or something. Why? You were in here playing a minute ago. And why? Because we are separated from God. Sin separates us. And so he comes and looks for us. And he said, what happened? And Adam, you and that woman, you gave her to me. And so he says, Eve, what about snake? He was talking to me. Snake didn't have a leg to stand on. He said, all right, boy, we are in a pickle. And so here's what's going to have to be done. You have chosen to go your own way. That separates us. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a program. We're going to start over again, whereby we can be rejoined, where you can choose. You chose to go your own way, where you can choose to come back. And so he went out to the edge of the garden, and he created a sacrifice, and he killed a lamb, and he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a perfect lamb come. And the perfect lamb will pay the price for you. And just as you chose to go your own, if you will choose to accept that sacrifice on your behalf, then I will, they use the term impute, I will take the righteousness of that perfect lamb and I will apply it to you so that you can then be restored. And in anticipation of that happening, I am therefore going to ask you to do this. And if you choose to do it, then I will recognize your heart having made the decision to do it, and I'll restore you. And so they did that. Now how did that work, and why was that necessary? Well, when a person is broken off from spiritual input, the only source of input they have is from the flesh. And the manual describes people in this condition. It says, shall I read it or shall I quote it? I'll read it. I'll quote it, but I'll pretend like I'm reading it. It says, the works of the flesh manifest are these. So, people that are fed only from the flesh, the works of the flesh manifest are these. Adultery, that's misbehavior when you're married. Fornication, that's misbehavior when you're not married. Fornication, wrath, envy, strife, murder, drunkenness. This pretty much describes the place I used to work, actually. What it does is it describes the condition of mankind. If you go out here to the magazine stand and read the cover of the magazines, the cover says, adultery, fornication, wrath. If you tomorrow, wherever your home is, whatever city in America, turn on the television at 10 after 2 tomorrow, I can tell you what's going on. Adultery, fornication, wrath, envy, strife, murder. You go buy a pack of gum at a grocery store. While you're standing there, read the cover of the tabloids, and it will be adultery, fornication, wrath. It is the condition of mankind. It is the natural outgrowth of a person who is fed only from the flesh. So, they did a poll of college students all over the world. What is the whole purpose of man? Why are we on this earth? The answer that came back, first of all, would be to achieve love. What the world needs now is love. If we could just have love, that would do it. Love would be the ultimate calling. Put that on your shirt. Love, and then the second one is to find happiness. That's why we form corporations and families and civilizations and all that, is to find happiness. The answer that came back third was peace. That was the reason we're on this planet whirling through the universe. The ultimate purpose of man would be to achieve peace. We just have peace. The manual describes this. It says the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, or self-control. A shorthand is, it's the opposite of this. Instead of wrath, we have gentleness. So the things that man is looking for is found in this spirit area. It's natural to everyone. Everyone needs love. Everyone's looking for peace in their life. But they're spiritually dead. And when a person is spiritually dead, when all they know, it's like the carpenter. When the only thing he has is a hammer, he thinks everything looks like a nail, because that's all he knows. And so when a person, all they know is the physical, then in order to find love, they think, if I just have enough adulterous relationships, then I'll find love. If I just put the body in a new boat, then it'll be happy. If I just get a new kitchen, then I'll be happy. If I just own my own company, and then everybody wants to have peace in their heart. And so we know where peace comes from, but you're spiritually dead, so peace is through the flesh. So they think, if I just smoke this, man, I'll be at peace. I'll be at peace. I'll be at peace. If I just drink this, I'll be at peace. Do you see how pathetic that is? How sad that is? That's why the Lord referred to people like this as lost. As lost. Because you can do all that you want to try to do. You can put this in 8 new boats or 7 new airplanes, and the next one will do it, or the 3rd house, or whatever. All these things, and happiness only comes from over here. But if a person is spiritually dead, they don't know. So he said, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make this opportunity, and when you willfully choose to do that, then my spirit will re-enter your spirit, and they will join, and now you will become spiritually alive. So when a person is dead, and to become alive, it has to be what? Born again. And it will be born again, and your spirit will come alive. Now, how do we do that? And this is significance now, because, well, I'll get to it in a second. Here's what he said. If thou shalt confess with your mouth, that's physical. If thou shalt, Romans 10, 9 and 10. If thou shalt confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, and believe in your heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. For with the heart man believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. So if you choose to do this, then I will make that come alive. And when it comes alive, now you have 2 sources of input. Now you have the flesh and you have the spirit. And what happens when that takes place, when that comes alive? I had a real struggle with this, because my understanding was that in order to go to heaven, you had to be perfect. And that was a struggle. And I may have heard me mention that those that are under age 50, I used to say under 30, and then I said under 40, now I have to say under 50 as life keeps progressing. Those that are under 50 do not remember a thing called polio. But there used to be a thing that would come sweeping through the neighborhoods every summer and just wipe people out. In fact, when I first got elected to Congress, in my first breakfast meeting, there were probably 25 or 30 members of Congress around this table. 5 of them were permanently disabled because of a thing called polio. The current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff at this moment, as we speak, has a completely withered left arm. His right arm can go no higher than this. He's never combed his hair. He's never brushed his teeth. And he is chairman of the Armed Services Committee, but he had polio when he was a teenager. He's never driven a car. And it was a bad thing. And my brother got polio. He died on Thursday. My mother died on Saturday. And my father was left with 7 children under age 13. And so the question is, 1 week's fine, the next week's, what do you do in a situation like that? The answer is that you remarry quickly. And and so he did. And married a lovely lady who was 40 years old, never been married, and so it all worked out really nice. But her father had just died a year before, so now her mother was not only widowed, but losing her only child. And so my dad, he's typical, and bring her too. Well, that's a different ballgame. So she came, and she was of that school that the Lord sits in heaven with a ball bat waiting to crack you upside the head. And she would sit with the Bible in her lap, and she'd share this joy with us periodically as we're, and so I remember one time I came in the house, and we used to have, back in the olden days, we had springs on the door, and the spring would bring the door shut before I had the hydraulic stuff that the rich people had. But when I came through one day, and the screen door made too much noise, and she didn't like that. And so I remember I was taking the steps 2 at a time going upstairs, and she shouted at me, she said, "Bobby," she said, "if you ever get right with the Lord, you won't let the screen door slam." And now I'm no theologian, but I remember thinking at the time, going to hell for slamming a screen door. This is serious stuff. And so the whole idea that I had to be perfect and do all these things, it was just more than I could work. So that's why we need to answer this. Here's what happens. God said there's nothing you can do. You're in a pickle. I asked you to do this, you didn't do it, now you're in trouble, and you can't get yourself back. So therefore, I will do it for you.